Well, folks, we're so glad you're here this evening. We're so excited we can start 5 minutes late because it's such a big crowd. We love that problem. So big thanks to everybody for being here. So many friends, family. It's really great. This hall is getting closer. I think maybe a little over 300 tonight. Closer to selling out. So thank you to all of you all for being here and sharing this evening of music with us. My name is Dr. Jerome Flegg. I'm director of Instruments and Music, so of course I direct the jazz band. I also direct the symphonic band. We have an exciting guest, of course, second half. So I've led the symphonic band this whole semester, but we have this week the Grammy-winning guest conductor, who's just spectacular and helps the students connect with the outside world. So you're going to see him featured the second half of this evening's program. The concert is called Curative. Curative, this concert we've designed, and it's actually really the vision of our guest conductor, Dr. Eric Johnson. It was about taking the power of Mother Nature, the beauty of Mother Nature, kind of harnessing that, bringing it into our indoor space. So that it takes so many different forms, right? So the jazz band, for instance, has a piece of Blue Roses. Jazz band has another piece of Solar about all the cosmic beauty of this world, trying to bring it indoors. We'll get to that in just a second. The whole second half is going to feature lightning. It's going to feature, the second half goes big to small, goes from lightning field, goes to bonsai tree, and then goes to aquarium. So this whole idea of taking nature and kind of curating and the beauty, the power of it, bringing it into our indoor space. We want to say a quick couple words about this concert is a tribute in the memory of Dan Goulart, legendary jazz and band director here at SRJC. I'm going to read a little bit about him. If you look at page 8 in your program, it's dedicated. There's a nice picture of Mr. Dan Goulart there. And I'll invite Dr. Mark Anderman to come up here. He's going to say a couple words after me. Dan Goulart, known to this community more as Dan Goulart, legendary teacher. Taught at Santa Rosa Junior College, right here. Head of jazz, this group, concert band, the next half of the group, from 1973 to 2001. Who was not alive in 1973? Raise your hand. So if you notice, there's a lot of dynamic, big, exciting things at the JC now. This didn't start overnight. It's figures like Dan Goulart who built this up over 30 years, 40 years, to make this possible. I think also, we're all terribly sad about Dan's recent passing, but we're really honored. I believe Diana's here tonight, his wife, maybe also other family members. So let's give a big welcome to them so they feel. So we wanted this to be upbeat. So just a little bit about Dan. Of course, he's going to be missed, but let's talk about the brilliance he brought in music and just as a human to this whole region. He served as the head of the music department. He was a mentor to countless musicians. I keep running across more people that say, Dan Goulart was pivotal in my career. Dan Goulart shaped who I was. Dan Goulart inspired me. And I'm talking about great musicians all throughout Bay Area. Keep coming up more and more that say how much Dan shaped who they were. He was a mentor to countless aspiring musicians. He and his trumpet were inseparable. He was passionate about music, but from everyone I talked to, they said he was just as devoted as a husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Here's a couple words from our legendary teacher who teaches here right now, our head of jazz studies, Bennett Friedman, who's played with every famous musician in the world. Bennett said these words. We read these on behalf of Bennett. This is what Bennett said the other day. He gave us this little clip. He said, Dan, this is from Bennett, and it's on page 8. Dan Goulart brought immeasurable amounts of music to Sonoma County and to SRJC. His presentation of world-famous jazz artists introduced so many of us to the best in jazz. By the way, in the music department, there are posters and posters of really famous, world-renowned jazz musicians who came to the school thanks to Dan Goulart. His presentation, Dan had the ability to show people the music they had in them and to encourage its growth. In this way, Dan changed people's lives. Dan served as 6 years as music department chair. The department grew and flourished with his leadership. Instrumental music at the college expanded as never before, and it's a lot of why you see it so great today. It's because of people like Dan that built it up. Though Dan retired from teaching more than 20 years ago, his enthusiasm for music never waned. He still practices trumpet, and he participated in performing groups at SRJC, at SSU, and all throughout the region, and still stayed active on his trumpet and as a musician. I want to invite Dr. Mark Anderman up to just say a few more quick words, and again, we want to, in a very uplifting way, dedicate this concert in the memory of a pivotal musical and just human in this region, Dan Goulart. I'll invite Dr. Anderman to say a few words.
When the call went out to say something about my friend and colleague Dan Goulart, I agreed to do this because I miss him. It was rather sudden when he passed, and we're sad to see him go. I met Dan when I started teaching at SRJC almost 30 years ago. It was the mid-90s. I was in my mid-20s. I had a lot less gray hair. And Dan was a mentor to me. He was a friend, and I was immediately impressed by the quality of the SRJC music department. And Jerome mentioned the guest artists. I just jotted some names down about the people that came to SRJC. Art Farmer, Joe Henderson, Bobby Hutcherson, Lee Konitz, Joe Pass, Cal Jader, Bill Watrous.
Cal Basie. Cal Basie's been out.
Yeah, and for the educators, we had Jamie Abersall. I mean, we had just people you couldn't believe. And my favorite memory was when we had Louis Belson, the great drummer. And I watched, and the band room was packed. It was just filled to the walls with people. And I was sitting in there, and I got talking to the person next to me, and soon realized that it was Steve Smith, the drummer from Journey, because that's the people that would come and hang out at these events. It's the first time I got to hear Bennett Friedman play, and so I knew I was part of a great department. But here's a quick personal story. My whole career almost didn't happen. Is that I had just been hired as a brand new teacher at SRJC, and if you're a part-time teacher and you don't get enough students, sometimes they just cancel your classes. And my very first department meeting, I was there, and I was probably much better dressed than I am now and ready to go teach the semester, and the dean announced they were probably going to cut my classes. And my whole teaching career, I had canceled gigs, I had given up guitar students, I had rearranged my schedule to commute from San Francisco to Santa Rosa to teach here at this school. And it was all disappearing before my eyes. And all of a sudden, I heard a fist hit the table, and it was Dan Goulart. And Dan said, "This is BS." Only he probably didn't say BS. He probably filled in the, okay, well. He said, "This is BS. You can't do that to this guy. You hired him. You said you wanted a theory teacher. You got him. You interviewed him. You brought him here. Put him in there and let him show what he can do." And, I asked Dan about that like 10 years later. We were at a going away party for Roel Amhoff, one of our other great band directors here. And I said, Dan, I thought about this a lot. I think you might have kind of saved my career because I would have been so dejected after that moment. I don't know if I would have become a professor. And the funny thing is, he barely remembered it. Do you know why? Because Dan did that every day. That's who Dan Goulart was. He was always looking at young people with talent and potential and saying, put them in there and let them show what they can do. That was Dan. That's SRJC Music. It's a lesson I have taken to heart, and I'm glad to see Jerome carrying on this tradition. And I want to thank Diane and the Goulart family for letting us dedicate this concert in Dan's memory.
So we've set up our next tune. Anyone fan of Miles Davis? One great. They say jazz history in 2 words. Anyone tell me jazz history in 2 words? Miles Davis, right, is sort of tongue-in-cheek because he was involved in so many of the key albums, the key forefront of so many things. Modal jazz, fusion, you name it. He was ahead of so much that happened in jazz. So this piece, first of all, a big thank you. This is a collaboration with the Astronomy department at SRJC. Big thank you to astrophotography from John Bloomertz, who works in the astronomy department. We're really excited for this collaboration. Big thanks to Jed Offit. This is the first concert that is ever done in this hall in New Burbank. Video plus music. So nervous. So jokes aside, this is going to be our kind of like 1 foot in. We're already thrilled with the results, and then the idea is we could do more. Maybe our May concert will be kind of building this out every May. So Jed, our brilliant pianist, put together a brilliant video for Solar, and I'm letting him set this up. Thank you, Jed, for putting this video together. He's going to say a few words.
You guys are amazing. Thanks for letting this old man play in the band. Is there any astronomy 3 in the house? Yes! I mean, tell me honestly, everybody, who in the room doesn't at least want to learn how to play an instrument or else take the class and learn about the stars? So, you still can, by the way. Keith Waxman, is a professor of astronomy at SRJC, teaches Astronomy 12 in the spring term. I can't take it. But if you went with Keith and John Bloomert, who can't make it tonight, they go up to Lake Sonoma. They take these beautiful pictures from the ground. You can't believe how much light is in the sky. We look up at the stars, and they just look like little twinkles. But John gets a camera in his hand between craft and technology and exposures, and 65 exposures superimposed on each other with software, and the whole sky explodes into color. And it's just been the most amazing thing. And who would have thought, that speaking of interdisciplinary collaboration on creative arts, astronomy and music coming together to do a thing? And so thank you all for coming tonight. I just want to leave you with this one thought. If you look around the room at all the brass in the band and the horns in the band, and take a look at your ring fingers and the gold on your ring fingers, and understand that every piece of metal in this room was forged in collapsing cores of some big, as burning, as bright, as blue as stars in the universe. And under unimaginable pressure, it gets down to the point where iron itself fuses, and then in a split second, nothing stops the collapse, and all the elements of the periodic table happen, and the whole damn thing just explodes. Fuse all this stuff out in, light years across, and somehow, over eons of time, from there, it got all the way into this hall in the form of a tenor saxophone. Enjoy this tip.
Would you all believe me if I said this band's only had 2 weeks to put this music together? So thanks to SRJC, thanks to all these wonderful donors, we just came back from Reno Jazz Festival, which the only disappointment, they went to non-competitive, so we couldn't avenge our second place pre-COVID that we got, so now it's no prizes. But the school just went to Reno Jazz Fest about 3 weeks ago, so this group, believe it or not, has only had 2 weeks on this music, this whole set, and it's a whole new set. So. This is a really special day. We're going to miss a lot of these musicians. Talk about SRJC connecting with the next step, the guest conductor in the second half. Also on that note, members you see in this group, some are going to UCLA next year, some are going to UC Berkeley next year, Tyler basses. Our trumpet player going to UCLA and the trumpets. We have a saxophone member get into Temple, Manhattan School, Berkeley School of Music, all these different really prestigious schools. Who else is transferring next year? Raise your hands if we did, so make sure no one else I missed. We got another, so all sorts of really exciting things both here and also the next step. So there's lots of exciting things going on with these incredible students. That last one, of course, featured. Let me make sure I get our solos. Excuse me. That featured Mr. Drake over here and Mr. Danny on solos on that one, and Nate Logan on trumpet. Give them a big round of applause. Yeah, we really appreciate that video. That's the first of many, many cool things we'll do with collaboration with video. That was our first ever experience in this hall, music plus video, and wait till you see second half. It's also incredible. This next tune, I Remember Clifford. Look at that name, folks. This features Nate on flugelhorn solo. It also features a nice little solo, Mr. Jed on piano. We hope you enjoy this tune in the memory of one of the greats. It's called I Remember Clifford. Okay. If you have stage pass, you know who you are. If anyone doesn't know, it's a fun program we do out in the lobby. A few people get a special pass. It's then true like surround sound experience up with the band. If you got a stage pass, come up on up. Come walk on up, and you're welcome to go around the outside of the band and kind of check the group out as we play. And of course, stage pass folks, you'll stay still. Come on up. Love you up here. A big thank you. None of this would be possible. Half of my job behind the scenes, you don't see it. It makes this band run. We have the most amazing band manager you've ever seen. He's getting a very special gift next week. I just haven't gotten to buy it yet. We could not have done this year. We couldn't have done Reno Jazz Festival. We couldn't have done the MAC conference. We brought 40 or 50 band students, choir students, thanks to Jody Beneke in the department. We couldn't have done any of that without this incredible band manager, music leader, behind the scenes leader. When he leaves SRJC, I will cry. We a big thank you. He's here another year. I won't cry yet. This is Drake Bolt. Give a big I told Drake, he gets a gift. It's not just an handshake. You have an actual gift feeling. Don't worry. A couple other quick thanks. One thing, Dr. Frank Chong, who I believe is here tonight for all his incredible support. Also, quick thanks. Dr. Chong's been an amazing college president. He's retiring. I might have to cry this time because he's retiring. We're going to miss him. He's really guided us through so many tricky years of pandemic, fires, all sorts of things. And somehow SRJC has still shone brightly through everything. So give him a quick big thanks. I think he's here tonight. Give a big thanks to Dr. Yeah, we will miss him. And now, Dr. Chong, you have to come to more concerts because you won't be so busy. I will find you. Actually, Dr. Chong's been incredibly supportive. We see him at a ton of concerts. So he's been amazing. He's really there for the arts. He's there for the whole school. And there's no thanks we could say. He's been incredible. He's really led the school brilliantly. And at Curveball a couple of years, and he's just been incredible. And he's part of the reason why this school is such a great place. Thank you, Dr. Chong. Also, thank you to, I'll hold applause to the end, but they all deserve their own applause. Media services, the video would not be possible. When you see the Light and Field video, also second half, this is the Solar. Thank you to media services. Thank you to Theo. Thank you to Sifo. Thank you to Matthew, who goes by Q. Thank you to Yarrow. Thank you to Mike Williams. Thank you to SRJC Theater, the guy who runs this whole theater space. None of the lights would be up in the clouds and work for Kyle McCarris. Thank you, Department Chair Jody Beneke, House Manager Enrique Rojas, the most brilliant house manager out there. Please say thanks to him. He runs concerts. There's 300 people here, and he never broke a sweat. I don't get it. He's amazing. And then thank you to Music Department Admin Robin Deering. Thank you to all the donors. There's a list in the program. Thank you to all of you. This would not be possible without you. Can we get a big collective round of applause? Thank you to those amazing. Anybody like drums? My 2-year-old kid is here. He loves drums, I know. So this is bigger. How rude of me. I'm a saxophonist. Did you notice there's all these saxophone solos? How rude of me. Okay, I hear you. I will fix it. I hear you folks. We're going to give a big drum feature. Does that sound good? Yeah. So where Joe is dazzling. You already know that. Wait till you hear this one. Upcoming solo, of course, this is a big feature. Mr. Joe on drums. You're also going to hear the wonderful Jed on piano. You're also going to hear Mr. Logan here on saxophone. We talked about diverse schools. Logan is graduating from SRJC, going to Korea International University. Logan, is that correct? Korea University in South Korea. So talk about SRJ students succeeding through all the world. What an amazing story. Logan will be there. He'll be in a different continent next semester. So we're going to miss him and big stuff. And last but not least, this also features Logan over on trumpet, the 2 Logans. We're going to miss both those, and all the people leaving next year, but we got a great crop coming in. Actually, next year's will be, we're excited. There's intermission after this. We come back with a fun percussion ensemble and then symphonic band. We hope you enjoy this last tune for this set. It's entitled Deep.
Hello, my name is Grant Bramham. I'm the ensemble director here for the percussion ensemble. We're going to play two pieces for you. First is called Perpetuo, and it's by Thomas Martecue. I think we're waiting on one thing real quick, so it might be. Ever been in an elementary school music class, you've probably seen those little plastic tubes before. They're called boom whackers, which is a great name. This piece was written pretty much exclusively just so we could have fun with those. So this next piece is called Now the Day's Over, and it's written by Dan Goulart, who's a very well-known percussion composer and arranger. He wrote this for his son. So without further ado, this is Now the Day's Over for Jonah.
Okay, folks, hope you're excited. You're in for a real treat the second half. By the way, Dr. Chong, we were bragging about how incredible, inspiring he was. He's been at 2 or 3 events just this night to let you know how hard he's been working. And we're thrilled. He is definitely in the house. And just while he's here, we just want to say, he knows this, but we're very thankful the incredible leadership, inspiration, and vision he's had for this whole incredible institution. He really has helped SRJC shine brilliantly throughout all the curves the last couple of years. So one time again, thank Goulart since he's here and after you did 3 events just tonight. One more big thank you to the Inspired. So the next guest we're going to bring up here, someone asked me once, they said, why would you conduct a whole semester and bring in a guest for the concert? To connect students with the next step. To get students outside inspiration, to get students connected with transfer universities. Our guest, he's in charge of 120 music education students under him at Colorado State University. He's won a Grammy. He's an artistic visionary. So we bring in these guests, even though I've worked with this group for 2.5 months. We bring them in because it's a way to connect them with the outside world, give them the outside inspiration, connect them with the universities where many of them will transfer to. He was also the vision behind this whole program, so they give us outside inspiration of, whoa, maybe we should push further and do more creative things. Give a big welcome to Dr. Eric Johnson.
So much, Dr. Flagg. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'd just like to congratulate the groups that performed on the concert before this set, and just to offer them another warm congratulations. They sound great. So I believe we are getting ready to go here, but I wanted to set this up just a little bit for you. The idea of curative. A really great idea behind naming concerts is to name it a word that nobody knows how to define, and then they have to figure out, well, I better go to the concert and figure out what that's all about. Curative is a blend of curation and being curious. And I was thinking about this about a year ago, and I was visiting Jerome and his wife and his son in Spain, and we had just been to see La Sagrada, Gaudi's big church, and I thought to myself, what an inspiration in terms of just trying to harness and reflect the power of nature in architecture. And I thought, it's a curious practice that humans do, right? We try to harness the power of nature, which is a fool's errand. We know that that's impossible. But we bring these elements of nature into our homes. And so every piece of music on this program that I thought of to bring here to SRJC. I think this is my 9th and my 10th year here guest conducting, and I love it every time that I come here, and it's just full of great musicians and great collaborators. So I'm thinking, what can I bring here musically that reflects this idea of harnessing nature? And so I thought of this idea of that we're curating nature. I love plants. I have an unhealthy obsession with plants. My whole house is full of plants. And just kind of thinking about these 3 pieces that you're about to hear, I want to set this up. The first piece is Lightning Field, and there's an art installation in New Mexico that's huge. I mean, it's 100 square miles, and there's just steel rods that stick up. And it's to harness the power of the lightning storms that go over it, and to basically tell the lightning where to go. And I think that that's kind of, it's an interesting concept. The second piece that we're going to play is a piece of music written to honor the oldest bonsai tree in Japan. It's a national treasure, Sandai Shogun no Matsu. It's over 500 years old. And you'll hear this idea that, we're taking a little tree, and I don't know if you curate bonsai trees, but I do, and it's just painstaking work, but we're trying to harness and tell nature where to grow. The last piece that we're going to perform for you is Aquarium. And I grew up with aquariums. I think I was telling the musicians here that I had a piranha growing up. And it was, I learned about the cycle of life and the cycle of nature with Mr. Ed, my piranha. And I call him Mr. Ed because he came up to the glass and he would chew, and it looked like Mr. Ed was talking. Anyhow, I had this soft spot for aquariums, and just kind of thought it was kind of sad to me, the fish in the aquarium. I thought, don't you want to go live in the ocean? Don't you want to go live in the lake? Isn't that place where you'd rather be. So I kind of had this melancholy relationship with bringing nature inside, because of course I like to go outside. I'm from Colorado. We have a lot of outside in Colorado, as you all do here, and I love coming here and just being inspired by the nature every year, and it's one of my favorite places in the country. So thank you so much for indulging this concept, and we're going to begin with Lightning Field. Do you feel electric? Woogie, woogie, woogie. We were working on that piece, and I just kept on telling the ensemble, we just need to stick our finger in a light socket. Every time one of those little things would jolt us. We're going to move on now to Bonsai Tree, and I'm going to invite a member of the ensemble to come up and say a few words.
Hello there. My name is Drew Collins. I play trumpet. I've been in the band since 2019, and I wanted to share with you what the theme means to me and how to incorporate that into your daily life. I'm someone who is a firm believer that curating the environment around you to benefit you and your well-being is excellent. And here's my pitch for it. Once you start, you won't want to stop. Once you get a taste for what it feels like to honor yourself and your time and your power, it's great. It can start with little things like playing your favorite song in the morning when you get ready, lighting a candle, lighting some incense. I believe that everything that we do in a day could be considered a ritual. Eventually, it'll be more time that you'll put aside, and you'll begin to view that time as sacred, whether that be art, whether it be music, working on something, whatever keeps that flame in your belly roaring. I encourage you to keep doing it. Even if right now it's a little ember, keep nurturing it, because I believe that taking time for yourself is an act of revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Profound words. One of the things that helps me to regenerate and just feel human again is every year when I come here. My job is intense. I sprint up to the end of the semester, and I lead a large program with a lot of different moving parts. And I come here and I feel like it's a fresh breath of air. And part of that is because of the wonderful people in the ensemble that I get to collaborate with. And I'm not joking. I mean, this is a very magical place. A lot of people come to Colorado and think that it's magical in Colorado, which I agree. I'm from there and kind of grew up there. But there's something here. Even just sitting out in the audience and seeing how much passion there is for music in this community and what the SRJC stands for, and who the concert is dedicated to, and the lineage of all the great energy that's been in this place is really cool, and it's a very special thing. So I hope that you can spend a little bit of time curating your commitment to that in your life and to help bring more people into the fold, because I think that music is getting stronger after the pandemic, but we still have some work to do.
been an amazing audience. They say all good things must come to an end. Can we give one more big thank you for that video for Lighting Field? OMG. Thank you, Carol, for this brilliant video. Carol Lopez made that entire video, just brilliant. Also, to say very quick plug, North Bay Productions. Graham was the percussion ensemble, is the percussion ensemble director, reaching new heights. It's incredible stuff. So you support our local businesses, incredible musicians, artists, visionaries like Grant. Runs that company, North Bay Productions. Lighting, sound, percussion, events, equipment, everything. Look them up. Look them up. The group up. The company. It's amazing stuff. We want to support our local businesses. So big shout out to North Bay Productions. One more big thanks to our guest. Yeah, thank you. One more big thanks before we play our final piece of the program. So next season we got bigger, better, all sorts of exciting stuff coming up from you. Jazz band, symphonic band, all sorts of stuff. So be on the lookout. Our next big concert week will be next October. We got more to come. We are very excited to see you then. We'll have lots of new things and curveballs and fun, colorful things to throw at you next year. One more big thank you, and so our guest, will let him finish with our final piece. This closes out our program entitled Aquarium, and thank you again to our inspiring guest conductor, Eric Johnson.
So before I introduce this last piece, I want to just take a moment and also thank Dr. Flake and all of the SRJC staff and faculty here. It's really an amazing place. Jerome and I have been friends for so long, and we went to school together, and I just have the utmost respect for him. He is such a passionate person, and he oozes music. I mean, passion and excitement, and he's just like a tornado wrapped in a hurricane. One of my best friends, and I just feel so lucky to be able to collaborate with he and his musicians here at the SRJC. So thank you so much, Jordan. With these 3 movements, there's lots of different fish in there, and so the first movement kind of starts out with Jacques Cousteau, and we kind of have like fish sounding music. The second movement is an electric eel, and then you'll hear guppies and multiplying guppies and more guppies at the end. So I hope you enjoy Aquarium.
Thank you.